Hey everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Best of 3 podcast. I'm Josh, SalvationsElite. To my right, as always, is Sam, BO3, Bash on Twitter. And ShadyNero joins us online once again. If you guys are watching on YouTube, he's right in between us, the man, the myth, the legend. And we're back at it again, talking some Call of Duty. We're less than 2 weeks out from the first event, CoD Minnesota. Obviously, for the pros, it's not an actual tournament, but there's a lot on the line for the AM scene, and it's about a lot about what we're talking about today. I mean, guys, for you, how you guys doing?
I'm doing phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get into what we got today.
Yeah, energy's always 100 from Rex.
I love it. You know what? And the energy's kind of feeding onto me, too. I'm doing great, too. I can't wait.
Yeah?
Every week is another week closer to Minnesota, so.
Right, 100%.
Can't wait.
So basically, I mean, getting into it, last week we talked about basically we broke down the format for the Call of Duty League, and one thing that we realized basically right after we recorded it, and there was an update from the CoD League, because shocker, their language with how they described this
horrible.
Wasn't clear at all.
No.
It was terrible. And so what we found out in the update, which I made a video about it and I had to fix myself in the pinned comment, and then we addressed it on Twitter afterwards for the podcast. The group play isn't actually group play at all.
It's another bracket.
It's another bracket. It's a double elimination tournament. And so
Right.
we wanted to talk about that just a little bit at the beginning of this podcast before we get into the AM scene. And then we're doing a fantasy draft, so like an actual full-on fantasy draft for the CoD League. But yeah, so it's actually double elimination tournament that the 4 teams are going to play against each other. Not at all.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like so there's like 2 double elimination brackets
That lead into a double elimination bracket.
that lead into a
I'm
single
sorry.
elimination bracket.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, that lead into a single
So
elimination
like the
bracket.
top 2, I think, out of those 2 double elimination group brackets go
Yeah.
to the single elimination
Again,
bracket.
they're going to need they better have some nice graphics
I know.
to explain this to the average casual person.
Yeah.
And like an easy way for people who are just joining in the middle of it and when it's going on to be like figure out what's actually going on. But yeah, so we wanted to clarify that at the beginning because that was something that was like when we saw the clarification we were like,
What in
wait,
the world?
what?
There's no
Because the
sane
language
person who could have taken that there's a bracket from that language they used.
Because they just said that if you win 2 games, you qual. They didn't mention anything about double elimination bracket inside the group play. So
baffling.
yeah, so we wanted to clarify that before we talked about the AM scene this week, which the final 2K before Minnesota just happened, just finished last night. So we have basically where the almost solidified pro point standings heading into next week.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that the top 10 teams in pro point standings from NA
Yeah.
are funded to go to the tournament by the CDL themselves. So they'll get treated as if they're actual players and respected. This respected deserve, of course.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about all that today and get right into it. So the opening topic is basically what teams are you most excited for heading into Minnesota and what are you looking forward to when it comes to the MC?
Okay, so for the AM scene, so the number 1 team right now with the most pro points and should be seeded number 1 is they're actually orgless. It's Parasite's team, so it's Parasite, Spacely, Pharaoh, Spart, and then they just picked up Pro Loot, I believe, for Pro FaZe.
Yes.
So I'm excited to see what they do because Parasite, at least for me, and I think for a lot of other people, it's always interesting to see what he does. The type of guy that's like he could be a pro,
Right.
but no pro team ever picks him up. So he's always talking about being on that grind, just always pushing through. So I'm glad to see he's doing successful in the amateur scene, and I don't know. I kind of hope it carries over, and I hope he wins. To be honest,
I mean that team's been the most fun team for me to follow through like these past 2 months or whatever because I definitely root for for all of the guys. I mean specifically also Pharaoh and Spacely, because those guys just feel like they deserve to be on a team. So hopefully. We'll be talking more about guys that have a chance to make rosters.
It's just crazy
forward, but
you saw Pharaoh at the top of World War II. I mean, he was winning.
Oh, I know.
Winning championships.
He was one of the rookies of the year, and then
all of a sudden he's playing path to pro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to see just how, just because you were top at one point, now you're seeing guys like Fellow and Pharaoh and all these guys that are just fighting through the AM scene. So
Yeah. Pharaoh's really good this year too.
Yeah.
Like really, like I'm surprised he's not on a pro team. He's better than I think a lot of pros.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I do know that there was that, like, he said something. There was like a past tweet that came out of him that he said about Kenny.
Oh,
which I'm wondering if that kind of hurt him.
I think people thought that actually affected his chances
Yeah.
of getting on a team.
But
that was a while back.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics about that situation, but I know it wasn't within the last like 2 years.
yeah. Also, too, like, I really want to see these academy teams, how well they do. You know. Do we have confirmation? Does each team have an academy team, or is it only certain?
I don't think it's each team.
Yeah, not every single
just
team.
whoever
Only
wants
certain
it.
teams.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, out of like the academy teams so far that like have actually been doing something, like Seattle Surges is ranked 3rd in pro points, and then OpTic LA's is ranked 6th, FaZe's is ranked 9th, Minnesota's is 10th. Let's see if there's any more in the top 50. No, there's not. So
50.
yeah, I mean the things that we do have to watch for there are the roster changes for those guys.
Yes.
Because right now with the whole what happened with OpTic LA where Chino had to get dropped. Those teams are probably going to have to figure something out there because they have Exceed and Tiny for Minnesota.
Yep.
And then Surge has Proto and Pander on that team.
Yep.
So
That's still so weird to me. It's like they just say, okay, Chino actually is ineligible, but these other teams have been playing
Yeah.
I know FaZe, Gravity, and Journey have been playing on that team for, I think, before even Chino was on the OpTic team. So it was like,
yeah, I don't
it was
know.
really weird.
You
So I
almost
don't.
wonder if it's
The
like
rule with that is so weird.
You almost wonder if it's like a contract thing, like maybe some of them haven't finalized a contract yet or something, or like. But it doesn't make sense that Chino was singled out when he's got, you know, I don't know. It's just very strange, and it's just very up in the air right now. So
yeah.
who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so we're going to watch out for those guys and see. Those are the teams we're going to pay attention to. Where, like, it depends who they pick up. Because Minnesota right now is ranked 10th, so they're right on that fringe.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiny and Exceed have the most pro points, and one of them's not going to be on that roster probably, assuming, going into the event. So they might actually, or they basically will for sure lose their spot unless they pick up somehow find a guy who has like 6,000 plus pro points.
Mm-hmm.
So Team 6 Gear might hop into that top 10, which is Fastball's team. So
yeah,
pay attention to that. But with the number one team, like I had to really do some research or like kind of do some homework on who Pro Loot and Spart were because they kind of came out of nowhere for me and snuck up on me. But Spart, looking at his like past tournaments, he basically got to start in Black Ops 4, so he was just kind of starting out there. And Pro Loot, he played a little bit in Black Ops 3, but he didn't have any other listed tournaments up until Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
So they're both pretty new to the scene, but apparently they're killing it. Pro Loot apparently is buddies with Illy. Yeah. Been playing a lot with him, so it'll be interesting to see how they keep that come up with this amateur scene. I mean, they're in pretty good shape if they're gonna be sitting with some of these pretty good shape with pro points now, playing with basically Parasite and Pharaoh. So
right,
I'll be keeping up with those guys for sure.
Then there's also Fellows team.
Yeah,
they're seated number 5, and then there's the rumor. I don't even know if it's ever confirmed, but E United is like I guess
like linked to
sponsoring that team somehow or linked to them somehow. But that team, Fellow, Exotic, Nagafen, Parzalian, Royalty, and all 5 players said no to being substitutes. Like they said, we're not going to be a sub for any team because they wanted to be starters. Yeah. And they didn't want to take that pay cut if they can get that higher pay later.
I mean, there's a world, again, like what we were talking about, like if the league does decent or if they're trying to get expansion teams, like you're probably better off not signing to an org, dominating the AM scene, and then you're picked up as a starter for the expansion teams next year.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So like there's definitely like a long-term play for those types of guys, like where like you can settle to be a sub for, you know, Seattle, or you can go out here and try to work your way, make cash in the open bracket and in the AM scene, and then try to be a starter next year for an expansion team.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like I feel like we're seeing like content creators become subs,
right? Whose
goal is literally just to create content while they're getting paid $50K. Just to be a sub.
Well, that's why at first, like when Censor got signed, you're like,
like what?
But now looking back at it, you're like, well,
makes sense.
It works. It works pretty well. So, I mean, what do you guys think of like UIU's team? Like they're like, and like M. Ruiz and company with Pentagram and Rex and Infamous and
Mm-hmm.
Zyrol, like that's an interesting roster too. Again, I think going into the event, I mean, it's definitely a toss-up. Undoubtedly, I mean, you gotta assume Parasite team's the favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, and when you're looking at the lineup here, like, are there any teams that stick out to you outside of Parasite's team that like you would be excited about? I mean, I know you mentioned Fellows team, which definitely makes sense because they have a lot of big names. But
Yeah.
who are you looking at?
I'm really excited to see Mochilla and Lamagod Gorgon Knight.
Oh, okay.
Minnesota's academy team, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, these are guys that have been playing that have played on LAN already. You know, in previous titles. So I feel like LAN experience is gonna propel these players farther because right now it's all online, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you had these online warriors that are doing really well, but when it comes to LAN, they're gonna crumble and break, which I think is gonna be even more reason to watch out for these teams that might not be top 10, but you know they've got some big names on their team. So I don't know. I feel like it's a toss up. Like besides like top 3, top 20, top 10. It's like who's gonna be really good on LAN, right? I mean I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No, for sure. There's definitely a question there. I 100% agree. Rex, who are you thinking?
I mean, who I think is gonna win? I feel like it could be Fellows team, Parasite's team, or it's gonna be UIU Pentagram's team.
Yeah.
I could see FaZe Academy getting like top 4.
Yeah.
But those are like my only predictions with that. It's such a big toss up because a lot of these names I've never even heard of before.
Right.
And
I
they're
guess-
like they're a top 10 team. Like I've never heard of
I mean, we do have to
Charles.
talk about the EU scene. I mean,
That's true. Yeah.
we've seen Team War, Royal Ravens.
Yep.
Those two teams have been doing really good.
Mad Cat, Shawnee.
Yeah.
Those guys
And then
are pretty good.
Singularity's still there, who they still have a handful of those guys from the champs run last year.
Also the Apex team too, with FIDA.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it was Mind Freak that was rolling last year. What they basically
Yes.
winning every single open
And until
champs.
Yeah.
Where they just
and they
pooped
didn't
the bed,
qualify.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But-
They choked it in Miami.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is crazy. But yeah, like so like I feel like we're gonna see the top APAC team, probably the top 2-3 EU seeds, and then probably the rest North America. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's just such a weird toss up, but it should be interesting just to actually watch them.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think that War team was really interesting. We'll have to see what happens to the Royal Ravens team too. And we got Mad Cat and Shawnee there, Nolson, Defrag, Weeman. So like, that's a good team. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see War, Royal Ravens, or Singularity finish inside the top 4 in the open bracket. But like, yeah, I would 100% agree that like you have to assume Parasite team's the favorite.
Yeah.
And then you got UYU, Surge, Aspire, like any of the top 10 could potentially make that run and finish top 4. So I totally agree with that. But I guess we have to talk like again, like what are your expectations for we talked about this in like the second podcast or so, like the expectations for how this is going to be covered or casted.
Yeah.
We still don't really have any information about how this actually is going to get casted and covered. So that's a pretty big question mark heading into it. And like, what are your expectations or versus what do you think will actually happen with how it's going to get covered and casted?
I feel like that it's not. I feel like they're just gonna stream the games, and I don't think they're gonna cast it. Maybe like the the semifinals and finals, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't like. That's all I think if they cast any at all, which is sad. I would really hope they would cast more than that, but.
Yeah, no, I can see him doing like casting A and B streams. Then if they do a Charlie and a Delta stream, they they just leave it to the gameplay. But they would make a huge mistake if they do not cast these games. I mean, you're most likely going to see these names, the top names at least next year on those expansion teams like you just mentioned. Like, there's just no reason to not cast them. But yeah, no, I think they're gonna go with the tried and true method of just casting either just A, maybe B, then just throw 2 or 3 more streams on and just let the gameplay run up until obviously like semifinals, finals, and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Last year, so at CWL Miami last year, they had the top, like, station 1 through 4 were streamable.
Yeah.
And so then for most of the day, they had the streams running, but no cast. So they had an observer, but they didn't have anyone casting them. So you could actually watch them and follow along if you're playing on one of those top 4 stations.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of what I'm expecting. I really hope they surprise me with how much of the tournament's actually casted.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I would guess the casters are probably working like maybe the second half of the tournament. So like maybe like one of the matches each round is being casted like outside, like in the top 64 maybe, or something like that. Or maybe throughout the whole tournament you have casters, which would be cool for at least one of the stations.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're gonna get into this later, but like, do you think there's gonna be a dedicated casting team for the AM scene, or are they just gonna?
I mean, at CWL Miami they had like an analyst desk, which was cool. But again, we have no clue how the CDL is gonna have run this tournament out, because they're working with Esports Engine to put on the open bracket, which is Adam Apicella. So I have no idea what the conversation is there.
Because like they're only playing like 3 or 4 series. Like the Pro League is only playing 3 or 4 series total. Per day during the weekend, which that's like maybe 3 hours.
It's so weird, yes. But the open bracket will be chugging away for
the whole weekend, right?
Just like any other tournament.
Yeah. So like whether they're gonna stay late and like cast those after the Pro League games
that would be
done,
sick. Like if all the actual
that would be super fun.
Stayed there and then casted the open bracket.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like if you had Maven and Merc out there casting,
it'd be great.
Which we don't even know if they're actually casting yet. They haven't announced that.
Yeah, we don't even know the casters.
But they were seen casting OpTic scrims, right?
Yep.
Yeah, spectating OpTic scrims. So maybe they were practicing their call outs and everything else. But which would make sense. But at the same time, so that would be really cool. But I'm not gonna bank on that. Usually they let those casters just go to chill the rest of the day. But that's definitely a possibility. At the end of the day, like, my expectation is nothing too crazy. I'm not going to get my hopes up, but hopefully they surprise us and they can have really good support for it. An analyst desk with at least 2 or 3 people, and then casting a few of the matches, or at least one of the matches per round for most of the day.
Absolutely.
So, kind of looking past Minnesota, like we talked about this earlier on, but like now, like talking about it with a better idea of who's setting up to succeed. Who are you looking at for individual players that like might have a chance to get picked up if they play well at Minnesota? Like, who do you think actually has a legitimate chance, or who would make sense to get picked up for teams like if they play well at Minnesota?
Number 1 for me, Pharaoh.
Yeah,
he's gonna get picked up so fast, and also Nagafen. Both players I think are just unreal.
Yeah. I think the only world where, like, I feel like if you, like, in a world where they win the tournament, though, like, don't you stay together? Like, you just say, we're not going to accept a spot?
No, dude. You would definitely take a starter spot in a Pro League team.
Yeah,
I feel like you would.
I mean, in, like, what situation, like, what type of team do you think you would get picked up to? It'd be like a LA Guerillas type situation, probably.
But then the contracting, though, is weird, though, right? Because you already got these starters already contracted for at least a year, right?
Yeah, so I mean that would just be demoting them to like a sub spot or like to a Path to Pro spot.
Yeah,
and then promoting.
Because we know these guys are not going to take a sub spot, so like they're not going to take anything else besides.
Yeah, I mean they would literally. It would have to be a situation where like Aches hits them up and says, "Yo, we want you to be on the starting roster," and then they get signed and they demote X player to the Path to Pro spot.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'll be tough for anyone to really get signed unless they're okay with being a sub. But I feel
at least during the first year, like I feel like
or at least half like the first event.
Yeah, because like these teams are gonna try to play out, like you said, at least half the year just to try to get into a rhythm.
Right.
They're obviously not gonna drop, after the first event, right? But
yeah,
I'm curious to see like how it's gonna go. Like I said, said before, like with the whole contracting thing, I don't know like how contracts are set up to where it's like, are you guaranteed a starting spot for a limited time, or is it just literally contracting is just you get paid this much for this long,
Right.
I don't know how that all goes into play with starting roles and sub roles. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, so I mean, since this event isn't a tournament for the pro teams, like, it's hard to imagine, like, that any team would make a change after the first event or after the first 2 games.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And, like, it's hard to imagine you'd make a change after one tournament or mini tournament or whatever event, one home weekend.
Yeah.
Because the teams that are in London are the Huntsman, the Empire, Guerillas, Subliners, Paris, the Surge, and the Royal Ravens.
Yeah.
So, like, and the Ultra. So, like, and a team who's not playing at that event probably won't make a change. So I would assume that no team would actually make a change until at least after that event, which starts February 8th, February 9th.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think anyone's gonna make a change, but unless there's like a really wealthy organization out there that's just like, oh, that kid's good, we'll pick him up. Because Toronto has a billion subs. Everybody else can do that too. It just costs money.
I agree. I'd be surprised. I mean, like, it'll be interesting to see who's the first team to actually make a change, and it's hard to imagine that happening until like probably March. But you never really know, I guess. If some of these guys look that good in the AM scene, though, I mean, if you're like Aches and you get smoked first weekend. Then you get smoked in London.
Yeah.
Like
then you're already thinking about a change. You've
got to be thinking about a change after that London event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't. Because then they have the bye. But then they have the bye week in February, like the Atlanta event. So like that's what I'm looking at. Like maybe the Guerillas make a change because then they host the March 7th event. So I would be surprised if any team made a change after Minnesota. But I'm looking at the Guerillas potentially for like the after London series. So yeah, I mean, then you go look at the open bracket and you're like, well, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to imagine any person actually getting picked up for at least a month.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Which I think most of these AM players are expecting. I don't think any of them expect to be picked up until
you have. Right? I don't think they're having too big of expectations for themselves when it comes to actually getting picked up.
Plus, I think like most of these guys are out to prove something, right? So like they're not going to settle for anything less than a starting spot on a good team.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you do good in this first event, like why would you change it up? Exactly. You can make good money in the AM League at this point if you're winning.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I think they're just going to be focusing on building their brand name, getting good placings, and then maybe next year we're going to start to see a big change in who's starting, who's subbing, who's going down to the path to pro. But
no, I agree. Yeah. So let's all give our top 3 teams to watch. Let's do our top 3 teams that you're excited to watch, and then do our top 3 teams. And then after we do that, we'll go around to our top 3 teams that we think will win. Yeah. So we'll give some like predictions and teams that you're excited to watch. So maybe they're one and the same, maybe they're not. But Rex, start us off.
All right. Well, I'm really curious to see Parasite's team play.
Yep. I'm
really curious to see Fellows team play. I think their team name is Mr. Midmaps.
Yeah.
And I'm also really interested in to see how FaZe Academy does. I've heard a lot of good things about Gravity. Turn Up Too Easy's been in the game for a long time, so I don't know. I'm really interested to see them play.
I like all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam, what are you thinking?
For watching Parasite, obviously, all eyes will be on him and his team. Also, the Minnesota Academy, I just want to see. I've been kind of a fan of just checking in on Mochilla every once in a while.
Right, you gotta keep up with what he's doing.
Who knows? And they got Gorgo Knight and Llama God on their team, Tiny too as well. Obviously.
Yeah, they got a fun roster.
Yeah, so I think they'll be fun to watch just because you got some guys that have experience there. And also, just from watching the latest 2K. I'm excited to see Jimbo and
you took my team. Oh, that's my team.
Jimbo and Beezy's team. There was a little bit of a drama there between Parasite and Beezy's team. There was apparently there's band contest spots on Hardpoint, which just blows my mind how much GA is happening and like that.
I mean, we knew it was gonna happen. It was all the memes going into the year of like Aches like checking his list of all the GAs.
I mean, like to ban a spot on the map,
Has that ever been a thing in COD?
Well,
GA
no, because
contest spots in
no,
Hardpoint?
Of course not.
I mean, there's no way.
Because
I feel like I've never heard of that before.
It's because the Hardpoint spots are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Some of the hills.
Yeah, like one. We're getting way off topic here, but
yeah.
I know one is on the first hill on Cave.
Oh yeah.
That like you
so
lay
dumb.
down. It's dumb. Yeah, but whatever. But yeah, so yeah, those three I'm probably gonna be the most excited to watch.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm definitely. It's hard not to be excited to watch the Space Fleet Parasite.
Yeah, exactly.
That team.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm definitely excited for that one.
And Mind Freak too. To be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was about to say Mind Freak. I'm really interested to see how the Apex scene's doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were dominant last year.
Mm-hmm.
They made some changes. Like that team's now FIDA, Crimza, Setsi, Swifty, and Pred.
Yeah.
And I think I'm interested to see them 100%. Like basically any of the Apex teams that end up showing up, and then EU like Team War. That team is good.
That's
and
a good team.
They were dominant at the beginning in the EU scene, and they've still been looking really good. I mean, they're sitting at, they all have 12,650 pro points each.
Yeah.
So they've been killing it in the EU scene. They've been dominant. So I'm hoping that translates for them. So I'm definitely looking forward to them. There's a lot of teams I'm looking forward to, but I think those teams specifically are ones I'm definitely excited about.
Yeah.
I'm also interested to see what Cade's team does. They're ranked 12th right now with Cade's and like Pawns and Anthrax. Because Cade was a guy he had like a legitimate chance to get signed by a roster.
Yeah. And
then it didn't actually work out for him. So
yeah.
Those are definitely 4 teams I'm excited to watch.
I'm curious to see maybe we'll see like the EU scene kind of explode. Who knows? It's just such a. Again, I think I've said toss up 5 times already, but really, it's just going to be such a weird.
Yeah, because last year the roster was Shocks, FIDA, Swifty, Luca, and Setsi.
Gotcha. Yeah. But
with Buzzo.
Buzzo, yeah. And he's on a different team now too. So, but yeah, those guys are gonna be fun to watch, though. I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So I think what I'm excited about for this podcast is we are going to be doing a fantasy draft. So we're using Draft Buff. It's like a fantasy. If you guys play fantasy football or fantasy baseball or fantasy basketball, it's the same concept. This year they have an app, so they're doing leagues, and you can actually do drafts. And so we're doing a full-on draft here, which is I'm really excited about. So basically, how we're gonna go down is the spots. How the league works is, I guess, how we explain it. How the league works is it's you're drafting a roster for the full year, and each weekend you have your starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And so how we're doing it is we have 2 ARs, 2 flexes, 2 SMGs, and then 4 utility players, which is basically any position, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right now it's a few mix-ups with what players they have listed for what actual spot on the roster there. So they have some flexes and ARs mixed up a little bit. But
football's listed as a flex, while RC is listed as an AR, which we're pretty sure that's a flipped role on the Huntsman
right now. So I'm sure they'll update them. And then we're doing 4 bench spots. So we're having a 14 player draft, 14 rounds. Unfortunately, they only have the smallest league they can do is a league of 4. So I added in we added in the Paris Legion. So they'll just be the Paris team. And we're gonna see. We'll see how Paris does against us. Should be pretty fun.
Yeah, should be fun.
So with that said, I'm gonna get this draft started. All right, so I got the app working, so it might take a second here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we're going to have the pop-up here. It's going to be a little bit confusing for you guys listening, just straight up listening, but we'll try to keep it as vocalized, audio-friendly as possible to make sure you guys can keep up with the draft. So try to keep people aware of what guys you currently have, and we'll try to talk about it a little bit, make sure you guys know what's going on. So, again, we have one just Paris Legion team, which is just picking Paris players.
Yeah.
And then we'll be actually picking. So Sam is on the board with the first pick of this draft. Who you going with, my man?
I think this is a pretty easy first pick, but first pick, Simp, SMG player. It's just so hard not to pick him first. I mean,
It's true.
He's a god.
Especially with the SMG friendly game right now.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's a MP5 meta, and he's going to be putting up stats. So
yep. So Simp, SMG.
Simp
first.
is off the board.
Off the board.
And now Rex is up next with the
My turn?
second. With our second. Well, technically the third pick because Breezy went first.
Okay, so I'm picking formal.
Oh, yes.
Wow! What? That was just a
Formal's
straight
looking
tilt
good, I'm not
pick.
gonna lie. Formal's looking good.
That was just a straight
Sam
robbery
takes my
for
boy
Sam.
Simp. I take his boy Formal.
No, you did it on purpose. That was.
Are there trades on this?
No,
app? I hope
Formal
not.
is definitely looking a lot like. I think
Well, yeah,
I didn't
he's
give Formal enough credit. I think he's looking a lot better.
He's a god amongst men. That's what he is.
Plus,
Okay.
Formal's putting in that time, dude. Holy cow!
Oh man, I could take anyone here. So
Yeah.
this is a tough pick.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to take the upside of Octane
Oof.
off the rip here, so I'm going to snag Octane.
Yeah.
At the fourth pick. Man, oh my goodness, this is painful.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm going. Oh, wow. I mean, he stuffed the stat sheet last year. I know, like, you could, like, take the upside of, like, Dashy here, or Slasher, maybe even, like, Dylan or Scraps. But I'm going to go Temp, because I feel like no matter what happens, Temp puts up points.
Okay.
And so, in a win or a loss, Temp's always on the leaderboard, and so I'm going to take Temp. Because I don't think he would have got back to me, so. All right.
Wow, I'm
Octane.
surprised you chose Temp so early. I don't think any of us were thinking to get Temp. But anyways, for my second pick, I'm taking Illy as my SMG player. Possibly one. I bet he
Thanking.
could end up being the best. I bet he could be Rookie of the Year this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy.
Makes sense.
I like the pick. All right, Sam.
Oh man.
You are on the board.
Yeah, 'cause I'm trying to think who's going to put up the most craziest stats.
Right. Oh, I guess for those of you, we didn't even explain the scoring and how it works. So, how the scoring works, if you guys are new to this, you get 30 points for a kill, insertion, destroy. You lose 10 points per death.
Yeah.
In hard point, you get 2 points per kill and lose 1 point per death. And you get 0.1 point for every second in the hill.
Yeah.
And then in domination, you get 1.5 points per kill, -1 for death, and 1 point per capture that you get of the hill or of the zone. So that's how the scoring works. Basically, Draft Buff has their own little power rankings that helps like sort people, but it's really based off of Black Ops 4, not off of Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just have to go off what you guys think. It's definitely not easy. It's actually really tough.
Yeah.
So with that said, Sam, who are you selecting?
I think this guy has the ability to put up ridiculous stats, and that is Gunless.
Yeah.
Good choice. I was thinking him too.
I have faith in him. He was ridiculous in Black Ops 4. Obviously, there was, near the end, he wasn't as prolific, but I've got faith in him. He's going to bring it back this year.
Nice.
All right, so for my third pick, I have Formal, I have Illy. My third pick is going to be a BZ as my next SMG.
All right, yeah, sorry, I had to get these Paris picks in here.
Oh, okay.
Wait, it doesn't go back to him, does it?
Oh, no, it does not.
Goes back to me, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
So you want a BZ, huh? Interesting. No, I wouldn't do that to you. It's me though, isn't it?
All right, yeah, I just got
Yeah.
the picks in for Paris.
Yeah. Well, Rex, I could do that to you, but I'm not going to. Man, gosh, dude, it's just weird because, like, again, some of these roles are weird. Like, I think some of the flex players are playing as ARs.
Yeah.
But just to recap, I've got Simp and Gunless so far. I am going to go ahead and pick up Arcides.
Oh, wow. You went Gunless and Arcides.
Pick.
I did. I know it kind of sounds like I'm just picking up the Huntsman, but again, RC was making waves last year. He's just solid. His AR shot is nasty.
Yeah.
But again, they have him listed here as an AR, but I think he's flex. But despite that, he's gonna be putting up points. So
yeah.
RC's will be my
No,
pick.
I agree with that. So Rex, you're going to BC, huh?
I went with a BZ for my third pick. I think he's a young god. People have been talking about how he might be one of the best people on FaZe right now.
Yeah.
So I think he's a great pick. I think he can duo with Illy really well.
No, I completely respect that. So Dashy's still on the board here. I think a lot of people would. This is an easy pick, and I agree. I'm going to snag Dashy. The upside is just if OpTic has gotten things figured out or will get things figured out eventually. I mean, he's gonna be on the stat sheet no matter what.
Yeah.
And then I could go double OpTic Gaming here. I could go Slasher, but I kind of want to go a Royal Raven because Dylan and Scraps are looking pretty nice right here. Obviously you got Hook on the board still, like, you know, Priesta, Grim. There's some good players on the board right here. I think no matter every single game the past 3 years, Scraps has been a god. I trust him. Stay on the board. I think he's a safe pick, so I'm gonna go Scraps as well. So, all right, Rex, you're back on the board.
I'm back.
You're back.
All right. Let's see. Who can I? What players do you have right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I am sitting at. 1 second. I need to check. I see my team. I'm sitting at Octane, Dashy, Scraps, and Temp.
Okay.
Stat stuffers from Black Ops 4 right there.
Yeah.
I got a Black Ops 4 super team.
Absolutely.
So I think
Right now.
people are gonna think this is weird, but I'm going with Pristini.
Whoa!
That's a
Really?
Yeah, I think Pristini. I've been watching his gameplay recently. He's looking really, really, really good, and he plays that OBJ role really well. And I think he can give me those OBJ points.
Oh yes, everyone. By the way, you'll be able to vote on this poll on Twitter. I'll put the poll up a day after the post comes. Update on the last poll. We did a gaming snacks draft, and yes, it did go very well for me. I think I snagged like 58% of the vote and took home the gaming snacks championship.
You all slept on animal crackers. You all
Dude.
slept on it.
I was pretty happy with the draft. I think I had what was the draft? I had pizza rolls, pizza,
Basically full meals. Yeah.
incredible foods, and Cheez-Its. Oh no, what's happening over there? Cheez-Its and something else. And won the draft. So thank you everybody, all you who drafted or who voted on that poll. Feeling pretty good about that. But Sam, you're finally on the board here. Who are you going with?
Okay, I'm gonna pick up Priesta.
Oh.
I think this guy is gonna be able to again put up some nasty points. He's a player that has solidified that he is a god, so I have no problem putting my trust in Priesta.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is like for me, like with this draft, how I'm approaching is like going into before this year. I mean, like you can bank on like these younger guys, like
Absolutely
turning up.
Yeah.
But, like like Priesta is gonna put up points.
FaZe just got some raw talent. That's
I'm a big fan.
Dang sure.
I like him a lot. I'm all right. So I'm grabbing these. Sam's about to be on the board again here, but I'm grabbing all these France players here. So congrats to Zed. He was just drafted. All right, Sam, you're back on the board as Paris just got their picks in.
Yeah. All right. So I am really hoping this guy puts out the same way he did last year. If you know what I'm saying. That sounded really weird.
That was mad.
Anyways, Dylan.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Dylan was incredible.
He's so good.
I had mentioned to Josh Dylan was able to single-handedly change how a map went just by his performance.
I mean, we saw that against LG last year.
I mean, that was just ridiculous. So hopefully this translates into Modern Warfare as well. But I've got to put the faith in him. So,
yeah,
Dylan.
no, for sure. That makes sense.
All right, my turn.
You are up, Rex.
All right, so to let you guys know, I'm sitting on Formal, Illy, Abizi, Prestini, and for my 5th pick, I'm going with Crim 6.
Doubling up on Empire.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Crim 6, he's the winningest player.
Wow.
He's on debatably the best team right now, and he's a godly AR. What can you say?
Man, there's some guys on the board here. Y'all be sleeping on Slasher, man, because he is the best. He's been the best player in some games. I'm taking
All right,
Slasher.
pick your loser team, people. Just let's go.
Slasher
No,
already
Slasher's-
off the board here, so I'm saying Slasher. So my team's sitting at Octane, Dashy, Scraps, Temp, and Slasher.
Hey, you want to
And-
know a secret?
Yeah? What's the secret?
So
huh?
you know how they play Pro 10s?
Yeah.
OpTic Gaming goes in there, but they just sit in Codcaster mode the whole time. Nobody picks them.
Man,
The hate.
the shade.
Dude, yeah,
That's
ShadyNero is
Shade
dropping
from
the
Shady.
shade, but for real. All right, so I'm hopping on this Dallas Empire train here. I'm taking Hook. I mean, talk about a guy who's never disappointed the past 4 years, basically. Hook's always been in the stat sheets looking good, putting up the numbers. So I'm feeling good about my team so far. I'm sitting on Octane, Dashy, Scraps, Temp, Hook, and Slasher.
Good.
So, Rex, you're back on the board. Who you got?
I'm back. They restrict you to picking these ARs, but I want to take some flexes as my
I know.
ARs.
So these flexes should be an AR, but
Yeah. I mean, you get 4 utility spots, so
yeah.
So you got some wiggle room there.
So I have to like pick an AR.
Yeah.
So
You
this
you
is
have
what
to
makes
pick
it
2
weird for
ARs.
me. So I think I'm gonna go with accuracy.
You bumhole and a half. That is literally what I expect.
Accuracy, I think
You
he's always been really
bumhole
good.
and
He's
a
a boots
half.
on the ground kind of guy. He's got the right mindset.
Yo, Rex, Sam
Um,
just took your soul with that insult.
I don't even know what he said. That's how much it hurt me.
No, yeah. That's a interesting pick. I mean,
I needed an
I
AR. I
respect
had
it.
to fill the AR role.
Yeah,
Here's
so-
the thing though, like, is it even worth going for an AR? I might as
No.
well just fill out my.
no, you may as well fill
No,
out the rest of it.
you're required to.
Well,
I know, but like, I'm not gonna.
He's just booting it till the end
Oh,
of the
I
draft.
see what you mean.
No, there's no reason to right now.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I'm gonna go with attach
Yep.
for utility.
Yep.
I think he's just a solid player. He's really good. He was good last year. He didn't have a team around him last year that showed his potential. So.
He was probably the most underrated player last year.
Yeah.
Maybe him and GodRx, because... Oh, I just mentioned GodRx. Rex is probably
Yeah,
sweating
Rex
over there. But, no, yeah, I love that pick a lot.
Yeah, but just to update everyone on the audio, my team right now
Yes.
then is Arcides, Gunless, Priesta, Simp, Dylan, and Attach. so
How you
far.
feeling about it?
I'm feeling really good. I think these guys are able to put up the points needed for this kind of draft. So
Right.
feeling good. Feeling good.
I'm snagging those Paris players, so who you thinking right now? Because you'll be back on the board once I snag the Paris players, so.
Yeah.
Who you feeling?
Again, I'm not going to fill the AR role as of right now. I just, there's no reason to. So I am thinking right now that I'm going to take Shotzi.
Oh, nice.
I think I need a couple of these guys that are young gods, right? That have the potential. Maybe they're not proven. Shotzi has proven himself on Halo, by the way. But I think Shotzi will be able to make some waves here in Modern Warfare. But again, kind of an unknown at this point.
Yeah. I'm running. I think I got all the players on Paris,
Oh,
so
gotcha.
now we're going to LA Guerillas.
Guerillas. Okay, I'm gonna say just go with Guerillas.
Yeah. 1 second.
I think I'm good. Yep. So I just drafted him. Yep. So Shotzi's my guy. Rex.
Rex is on the board.
All right, it's my turn.
It is,
All right.
sir.
Well, as you know, I'm picking up Scump.
Oh,
As you know.
as we
I
know,
don't
huh?
know.
So right now, my team is sitting at Crim 6, Accuracy, Formal, Illy, Abeezy, Prestini, Scump. I'm sitting with a lot of gods on my team, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Weren't you roasting Scump in the last draft?
You were.
Hey, man, I was. Scump's definitely not where he was, but Scump is still good. Don't get me wrong.
No, absolutely.
That's why he was my round
Where are you
7
sitting at?
pick.
Where are you sitting at with positions right now? Like, do you need any?
My ARs are filled. My flexes are filled. My SMGs, my everything's filled for me, basically.
Okay. Well, I'm just staring down the barrel here, and I think there's a few guys that really stick out to me, but undoubtedly, there's one that really sticks out to me. That's Kenny.
Yep.
Undrafted still. So I'm gonna snag that OpTic Gaming. Like, y'all be sleeping on OpTic
Josh
Gaming.
picks the worst team in the league as his fantasy team.
Brother, I mean, if you guys are handing them to me, I'm gonna be taking them.
Yeah, you got handed them, sure.
And I'm also gonna snag. There's about 3 guys I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping 2 of them get back to me. But I think I'm gonna go with Celium here. Snagging the flex as the backup here. I've got all my. I need one more AR, but I'm kind of booting it like Sam right now. So I'm sitting at 1 more AR for my starting spots, 1 more utility, and then we're drafting bench from here on out. So Rex, you are back on the board.
All right, so I made my next pick, and my next pick is Karma. So I've just picked up the OpTic Dynasty of Days of Old.
Oh, wow, you have all 4.
I have all 4 from the OpTic Dynasty. I have Illy, the young god.
He's trying to win this
Abeezy,
draft.
the young god.
I was just going to say, I get a sense that you're trying to win
He's
people
trying to
over.
win the purple.
And Accuracy. An
Someone
AR
had
legend.
Guys, don't fall for this. Don't fall for this.
His whole goal
Don't
is
fall
to
for it. This
put
is facts, dude. I've
He's
literally
pandering.
have an all-star roster.
This guy is
No
just trying
cap,
to get
dude.
the
I have an
votes.
all-star roster right now.
Rex is straight up pandering for your Twitter vote at this point.
Absolutely.
If
Don't
I was
fall
pandering
for
for your
it.
votes, I'd have a sign that said "Vote Shady," but I don't.
Could
This
you
means this is
imagine
legit,
that?
boys. We can win this one. Join the Shady side. We got this.
Oh, God.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh, my word. All right. Well, I've seen this guy. Wait, no. It's me, right?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. This man has been doing phenomenal in scrims.
Okay.
Frosty.
Your dude.
Frosty, dude.
Frosty. Frosty.
Again, he's kind of improving at this moment, but he could be a wild card. He might not do very well. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got faith in him as a console esports player.
Yeah.
Because again, he destroyed in Halo. So.
No, I respect it. You're back on the board.
I am, aren't I? Gosh, dude. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and fill the AR role.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
And I'm going to do... I am going to pick Clayster.
Nice.
That was gonna be my next pick, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, if I snagged Clayster, it was over. Like,
yeah, no, I think Clayster still got it in him, so that's that. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Clayster's
no,
fine.
definitely does. I
So,
respect it.
Think Rex, you're up.
I am up. I have a feeling that I need another AR. For some reason, I have a lot of sub players, a lot of god tier sub players, but
Okay, who
I
you
think
going with?
I'm gonna go with.
Leaving us hanging.
I know, dude. It's weighing on me. I think I gotta go with. I'm going with Zuma. I'm going with Zuma. I got it. I had to pick a
You
sub.
didn't even go with an AR.
I know. I had to, dude. I had to. I saw it was there. It was so hard to say no to.
Well, you scared me into drafting an AR, so I pulled the trigger on Mox.
There you go.
I mean, he was fantastic last year with Gen G, so I'm hoping he keeps that up because, I mean, that team overall is kind of slept on, but
you didn't want to pick up JCap?
Yeah, you don't want JCap, dude? What's going on?
You're gifting him to me, you know? I mean, man, just a straight gift. But no JCap for me.
Oh, shoot.
So there's still a lot of guys who I think are going to be value picks here looking at the board. But one really stands out to me that still has the upside, and he was one of the best players in Black Ops 4.
TJ.
He plays in Chicago. It's Envoy.
Oh.
I'm snagging Envoy. He hasn't looked great for Chicago so far this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't pick him, because I was thinking of him too.
But at the same time, like, he's so talented, has so much upside. I'm gonna stick with my man.
Yeah.
Draft him as the last spot on my starting roster here.
I know.
And now we're to the bench spots here for all of us.
No, I still have one more utility.
Oh, okay. There you go. But Rex is back on the board.
All right, yeah, I still also have a utility, so I'm going to pick Zero
Oh, really?
as my final, I guess, starting pick.
Okay.
I think he's an AR player that can fit in well with the team here.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
So,
I don't hate it.
So my team right now is sitting at Crim 6, Accuracy, Formal, Karma, Illy, Abizi, Prestini, Scump, Zuma, and Zero.
Yeah. I guess I'll give an update on my team while Sam's on the board. I'm sitting on Octane, Mox, Dashy, Scraps, Temp, Hook, Slasher, Kenny, Celium, and Envoy with my starting lineup, and I'm just picking bench now. So, a lot going on here. Sam, you seem to be looking over a lot of guys over here.
I think my last pick for non-benchers will be Goddard.
Yep.
I think he's just a safe pick.
Man, I can't believe Rex didn't pick his dude earlier.
I know. I thought for sure you'd pick him, Rex.
Maybe
Well, I
get some type of
recently
trade in
watched
here.
their scrims, and he wasn't looking too hot.
They got dumped on by London, right?
Well, no, London's actually looking really, really good.
London looks really good.
No, I agree.
They were going like half and half map count.
That doesn't surprise me.
But like Formal streaming their scrims against Minnesota, and they're like laughing the whole time while they're just destroying them.
Oh no!
So it just,
yeah,
I missed that.
Minnesota doesn't look too good, but
they're looking.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So then it should be me again, right, for a bench.
Yeah.
Okay.
After
yeah,
I'm getting the picks here.
Let's see. Who'd be a good bench? You know, if we're going off of...
Oh, you can read off your team here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so team, non-benchers. We got Arcity, Clayster, Gunless, Priesta, Simp, Dylan, Attach, Shotzi, Frosty, and Goddard.
Okay.
So, sitting pretty good, I think. There.
Yeah.
For bench, if we're going off of, points... I don't know if I'm thinking about this correctly or not, but if we're going off of, like, in comparison to your team.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to consider it a little bit, like if your utility doesn't fill, like, the SMG Flex or AR, spots. Considering now, like, teams have bye weeks, so you do have to consider, stacking too many guys from one team can be a problem because of the bye weeks, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Breck.
Okay. Yep. I like it.
I think I think he's a very talented player. But that would make him a pretty safe bench player.
All
yeah,
right.
for sure.
And so
Next on the board.
For my bench pick, I'm picking Enable.
Yep. That's nice.
He's another player I feel like I could sub in there anytime. I could put him anywhere. He'd do great.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I like it. Yeah, so I'm kind of, again, I'm looking at it, so I don't want to pick too many guys from the same team right here. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get guys from teams that I don't have very many players from with these bench picks here.
Honestly, I bet Eggs would have been a good pick. Good bench pick.
I mean, someone has to put up points. But unfortunately,
you have to choose the team that, like, to choose the tournament he's actually going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paris Legion. So with that said, I don't have too many guys from Atlanta FaZe or Florida or Toronto. But I'm going to take Major Maniac from Atlanta.
That's
Nice.
a good pick. He
I
actually
like him
doesn't
as a
look
player
terrible.
a lot. Yeah, I like him as a player a lot. He's just kind of third, fourth wheeling on that team because of the stars.
Yep.
But I like him a lot. I think he can make an impact, be a nice little bench player for me. So, Major Maniac. And I got another pick here back to back. And again, I'm just kind of looking at guys who rosters I don't have very many guys from. And I'm going to snag Silly from the Rokkr. Obviously, we talked about how they've been struggling a little bit. But
Okay.
I do need guys that I don't have currently. So
Yeah.
All right. So I guess for my next pick, I'm picking Apathy.
That's good.
yeah, it was either him or Apathy for me in my last with my pick there. So
Just kind of rolling off. I don't have anyone from OpTic LA, so TJ is going to be my next pick.
makes sense. I mean, that's a value at this point. I mean, the potential he has is crazy, and
Yeah.
the fact that you don't have any other OpTic players, that's good
We
upside
just
for you.
don't know much about OpTic LA, like how they like.
I mean, they
perform.
haven't streamed in
Yeah,
weeks.
so yeah.
No,
And
I love it.
Yeah, I guess once you draft,
Are there any other players left? I'm just gonna scroll down the list and take.
just do Jacob.
Dude, they have subs like way at the bottom, like Tommy, Gravity, Exceed. Just pick those guys
You can draft Maniac.
from Florida Mutineers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Censor.
Bro, how did I not draft Maniac?
I'm taking Censor. Censor's now on Paris Legion. Maniac will for sure be on the Paris Legion team.
That's amazing.
They're getting some solid players over here, some big time stat stuffers.
There you go.
But Sam's now back on the board officially,
Yeah.
and entering our final few picks here.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Slacked.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
have anyone from Surge.
That's fine with me, actually.
And I think Slacked is not that bad of a player either.
Yeah,
So,
no, I respect it.
All right, and so for my next pick, I'm taking Rated from the London Royal Ravens.
Nice.
Here you go.
Another AR player that will
Yep.
help me buff up my roster a little more.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like I'm just trying to get guys who aren't on teams I currently have right now. So I'm going to take Methods from Toronto. I love the dude. He's like one of the funniest guys in the league. So worst case scenario, I like my team.
Worst case scenario, you get a laugh.
Yeah, exactly. So Methods snagging the roster. Obviously not the biggest. Not a name that might not get very many votes, but I think he's going to be able to help my team considering I don't want to stack too many players from rosters right now. So yeah, feeling good.
There you go.
I get my last pick here. My team is currently sitting in Octane. I guess I'll go through it after I take my final pick. There's a few guys here that I really like still. Again, I'm kind of looking for upside and switch up the roster a little bit. So, with that said, just scrolling through here, I'm going to take Skies. Skies was, he was a main AR last year, so hopefully his role gets changed, and then I get a nice value of a main AR here. Worst case scenario. But yeah, Florida Mutineers, I'm looking for roster diversity at this point, so
There you go.
that's what I'm going for. Skies to finish out my roster. That puts Rex on the board.
All right.
And my roster now is Octane, Mox, Dashy, Scraps, Temp, Hook, Slasher, Kenny, Celium, Envoy, Major Maniac, Silly, Methods, and Skies to round things out. Feeling pretty good.
All
Championship roster right there.
So I'm choosing between two players in my mind right now. I either want Wuskin or I want Jerd.
Yep.
Jared's a good pick.
Both of them are nice.
Jerd is a really good pick, but I don't quite know where he's at with his play, and plus he's also another SMG that I don't really need. And then Wuskin, I feel like
Wuskin's always a safe pick.
Wuskin is always a safe pick, but he doesn't have like that pop off potential that I feel like Jerd has.
Yeah, 100%. Jerd has way more upside.
I think I'm gonna go with Wuskin though. I gotta go with Wuskin.
Right,
I don't need another SMG. I just don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cool. All right, so you're rounding off your team. What's your team at now?
All right, so my team is Crim6, Accuracy, Formal, Karma, Illy, Abizi, Pristini, Scump, Zuma, Zero, Enable, Apathy, Rated, and Wuskin.
Not bad. Pretty
That's a
decent squad there.
strong team. That's such a strong team.
Vote Shady.
Vote Shady. If you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh,
Jeez.
man. All right, Sam. You're here to round off your team. Quote-unquote Mr. Irrelevant here. Not technically, but Paris's pick is Mr. Irrelevant. But who you got to round out for team, Sam?
I'm gonna pick Jared.
Yep.
Go for Jared.
Makes sense.
Whatever. It's the last match player.
Upside.
So, final team: Arcides, Playster, Gunless, Priesta, Simp, Dylan, Attach, Shotzi, Frosty, Godorex, Brack, TJ, Slacked, Jared. So
That's a good team.
I think that's a pretty solid team, if you don't mind me saying, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how the points play out.
100%. And then there's the Paris team. So Paris' team is basically comprised of Paris and LA Guerillas.
So if any of us lose to this team,
Then something crazy happened in the league.
Happen.
Or something just crazy happened in the league because
True.
Paris and the Guerillas are popping off.
True.
But so we'll have our draft posted the day after this podcast goes live
Somewhere.
on Twitter, on my Twitter, SalvationsElite. You guys can vote on which team you think popped off, the team that deserves to win the vote, which team you guys like the most, and we'll go from there. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Kind of went a little bit long, but we always appreciate the support and everything else. If you guys like the podcast, if you guys are on Apple Podcasts, rate the podcast. That would be great. And if you guys are on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and show some support. We always appreciate it. So, as always, we're the Best 3 Podcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.